Greetings and welcome to Zadokite Passover night, the preparation day for the beginning of the Holy Week, the High Week, on the Yom Tov, the high day of Matzah 1, and that is tomorrow. Perhaps you'll come back. We're having a service here, likewise, that we're doing tonight. I think it's at 7 o'clock. Same channel. It's going to be good. It's going to be very unusual. Come on in. Might take an hour. This, however, is probably going to take a little more than an hour, especially if we have the opportunity to view each other's situations, each other's Passover duds, Passover plates. And I have no idea what's out there, but we're going to find out. Let me ask you, is there anybody that does not know their part, if they have a part? Everybody's got their part? We had one come down sick, and maybe we got that part replaced here. And we need one more speaker. To be a speaker, it's just one portion, one paragraph. To be a speaker, you've got to be able to read it off of the cue. Got to fly in here. Now he's gone. One more. Need a volunteer. No volunteer? Okay, you bunch of deadbeats. Okay, that is.
I'll volunteer, Brother Jackson.
Somebody already beat you to it. Vicky. And that would be speaker number 4. When that one comes up, then Vicky, if you would, please read that. Or maybe you and Emerson might read that together. Let me show you who we've got here. See if we can get it. Oh, she's in darkness over there, pretty much. This is the beloved Trelly, who fixed our entire Seder meal tonight as well. No, not Rabitzin, as well as our Seder plates. You can see mine right here. I love paper plates. I hope some of you have plates like this that you put together and get a little bit of wine. And over here we've got the long lost Commander Lee with his Seder plate, and he brought the wine tonight. Is it Mogan David?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So see, that's what I hope that we can do, get other people to share their screens, and let's see who's there and see what you're doing and so forth.
Brother Snyder, Felix. Yes, yeah, so I was told I'm reader number 3, okay?
Reader number 3, right.
Yes, okay, all right. Just to clarify before we...
Sure, and I thank you for taking that. We just need to have confirmation that we've got reader number 2. See if I can figure out who that is. It's okay, Vicky. Reader number 2. Okay, yes, he's here.
Hi there. Yes.
Great. All right, let's see. What else do we need to know before we start? All right, let's call on the Chazan, and he has the liturgy for tonight. So Kenneth, if you've got this, please put it up. Yes, these are the supplies that we need to do this online Passover. And we've done this before, but never in such a way as to involve everybody that's online with us. Maybe you might, if you don't have them, maybe you might just run out and get them real quick. For 7 days, you're to eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, remove the yeast from your houses. Exodus 12:15. Supplies. I'm going to read these for the sake of the recording. You know, we'll probably do this next year again, and that way we can have a sample. Supplies are a candle or a lamp and a lighter, about 8-10 ounces of wine or grape juice, and a cup. Wet ones or something similar, or a small basin of water with a towel. Oh, we don't have that. We need to get a towel. We've got paper towels, right? Yeah, we got that. We can do it. We'll use the salt water for that, okay? At least 3 matzahs, which you can make yourself. I'll show you how in a minute. Some bitter herbs. Tonight, we're using horseradish. Back to the parsley or similar, we are using, what's the name of that herb we're using?
Oh, cilantro.
Cilantro. We're using cilantro tonight. Carousette. This is probably the hardest thing to do. That is to mix up some apple, honey, walnuts, really whatever's fruity you've got, maybe raisins with honey and a little bit of moisture, like maybe some of your Passover wine. And a plate to hold all these things. I already told you how to make the poor man's carousette. You make your matzah by preheating the oven, mixing flour and water to a thick paste, roll the dough out on a baking tray or pan, and then bake for just a few minutes. Don't let it burn. Oh, that's good. Very good. Yeah. We just got our water now, and a towel, and a fly. And so if there are no more questions, let us begin. When you come in to do your part, by the way, please do announce who you are, right? My name is Snyder. During the days before Passover, leavened items are removed from the home. These include all breads, cakes that contain yeast. Preparation begins with a thorough cleaning, culminating in a ceremonial search for leaven, that is yeast, called bedekat chametz. Let us also ready our hearts for the Passover Seder. Seder is the order of service. Tradition teaches that in each generation, we must consider ourselves as having personally been freed from Egypt. As we prepare for this experience of personal redemption, let us put far from us the leaven of sin hidden within our hearts. Got to let a few people in here. Oh, okay. Well, you can leave yourself out if you want, since you're sitting right here. Haggadah means the telling. Passover is a story that has been retold for thousands of years. It's a story of miraculous transitions from slavery to freedom, from despair to hope, from darkness to light. Its greatness is the greatness of Yahweh. Its timelessness comes from the eternal truth of his involvement with his people. As Yahweh cared for the children of Israel in ancient times, he cares for all who are his today. As we have, and perhaps you have too, on the table is a Seder plate holding the ceremonial items of Passover. I'm wondering, somebody that's a co-host, can you get these ones that are coming in a little late? Thank you. There are bitter herbs, a sweet mixture, sweet apple mixture, that's carousette, and parsley. Curious things, yet all part of the telling, the khagigah. Let us allow our senses to fully participate, taking in the sights and smells, tasting each ingredient, listening to every word. Let us see, hear, and feel the truth of Yahweh's love. One of Messiah's annual customs was the celebration of Passover. Not just Last Supper, he did Passover certainly every year of his life. Gathering his disciples in a small room in the Essene quarter of Jerusalem, he led them in a Seder. With desire, I have desired to eat this Passover with you, said he. He passed foods among them. We suppose it was in the context of this celebration that Yahshua revealed to them the mystery of Yahweh's plan of redemption. He spoke to them of his body and blood. He explained to them that he would have to die. It was no coincidence that Messiah chose the Passover time for the setting of what is now sometimes remembered by the act of communion. For in the story of the Passover lamb, Yahshua could best communicate the course he would be taking over the confusing years that were to follow. Here, as we participate together in our online Seder, may we remember and experience yet again Yahweh's great redemption. First, we light the candles. Eisen, please read these ones that are under the headers for us.
Good evening, Kenneth Kimmons here. Yahweh is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?
As we kindle the festival lights, we pray for the illumination of the Spirit of Yahweh to bring great personal meaning to this, our Passover remembrance. Do we ever? Yeah.
Yep. Marcial here. Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who has set us apart by his word, and in whose name we light the festival lights.
Is there a chance that we can see you lighting the lights? Or is your light already lit?
I'm on camera. You don't see me?
Okay, very good. Yeah, we got one too. Very good. They're new candles. They often don't light very well, even that little one. Thank you. Oh, I lost my prayer shawl. Okay, Heisen, let's go back to the liturgy. As light for the festival of redemption is kindled by the hand of a woman, we remember that our Redeemer, the light of the world, came into the world as the promised child of a woman. Next, we go to the 4 cups of wine. Eisen?
Then Yahweh said to Moshe, now you will see what I will do. Exodus 6:1.
As Yahweh spoke these words of encouragement to Moshe, he revealed to his servant the plan by which he would redeem the children of Israel. I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will take you from being slaves. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your Elohim. At Passover, we celebrate these promises of redemption and relationship by filling our cups 4 times. With each cup, let us remember the union that Yahweh desires. Somebody have a cup tonight? Heisen, turn off the liturgy for a moment. Here's mine. We'll all lift that cup. We'll be putting it down again. We don't drink it quite yet. But you see the small amount in there. If you're using real wine, that's not mixed. You don't want to put too much in there because there are 4 and almost 5 cups course of the night. And you might end your Passover tonight falling on the floor like a lot of Jewish folks do. Okay, Heisen. The cup of sanctification. I will bring you out from under the yoke. Oh, I'm sorry. Go.
I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. Exodus 6:6.
Let us lift our first cup together and bless the name of Yahweh. And everybody said, blessed are you, O Yahweh, our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Now, wherever it says all, we have Steve that's going to lead that. So when he starts, you start. As he began his final Passover Seder, Yeshua the Messiah shared a cup with his disciples and said to them, take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink it again, not drink this fruit of the vine until the kingdom comes. But let us all drink this, the first cup of the remembrance, the first cup of Passover. Heisen? Turn the
Who
liturgy
may-
off for a minute. Let's see if we can get some people having a little repast with wine so we can blackmail them later. Hard to handle. Are you ready? L'chaim. That's good. If you will show something, just let the Heisen know. Say, Heisen, I want to show my wares. That would be good. And you can turn it back on again, my friend. A faithful man. You don't find many. We wash our hands.
Who may ascend the hill of Yahweh? Who may stand in his set apart place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. Psalm 24:3-4.
Wonderful. I'm holding a basin of water right now. This is it, and it really has water in it. What we want to do is dabble in a little bit, wash our hands, take your towel and wipe them off. Or if you've got more people there, wipe your brother, sister, child, wife, husband's hands in the water and pass the bowl. And we'll give you a little time for this. This is obviously, this is a type of foot washing. And we might do a foot washing here, but it takes too long for us right now. There you go, my dear. Oh, that's really burning now. Oh,
They got sick, seasick one legend.
oh, yeah, we'll have to block that out when we do the editing. Thank you. I got arthritic hands. It's getting harder and harder to hold things in them. All right, Heisen, let's go on. Let us also reflect upon the gesture of humility and the lesson of commitment made by Messiah Yeshua when on that night he laid aside his garments and girded himself with a towel. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your master and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. And this is the only commandment that Yeshua gave that was clearly a commandment. So really, we probably ought to have a third ordinance, and that is the foot washing right along with baptism and communion. Next, we have karpas.
The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to Yahweh. Exodus 2:23.
Okay. I'm lifting up my parsley or my cilantro right now. And if you have some there, you should too. Passover comes in the springtime. You can tell it's getting a little wilted now. But I love this. Okay, let's go back. Eisen. There we go. When the earth is growing green with life, this vegetable called karpas represents life, chai, created and sustained by Almighty Yahweh. Now I'm lifting up salty water with genuine black salt. Where does that come from? Himalayan black salt. And you can, it's melted, you can see the little pieces of minerals that came in with this salt. It is black. All right, Heisen. Yep. Life in Egypt for the children of Israel was a life of pain, suffering, and tears, represented by the salty water. Let's take a sprig of karpas and dip it into the salty water, remembering that life is sometimes immersed in tears. And everyone said together, Blessed are you.
Blessed are you, O Yahweh our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who created the fruit of the earth.
And now let us together eat the karpas. We've all been through some hard times. We've all been through tears, and some of us are going through it right now. But there's a remedy. The 4 questions. When your children, go ahead. Sorry.
When your children ask you, what does this ceremony mean to you? Then tell them. Do we have a...
Yeah, we should have a child here.
Okay.
I mean, somebody that's going to play a child. Usually if there's no children, you get the youngest person. And let me look. You are the child, Kenneth.
All right. How different this night is from all other nights. On all other nights, we eat bread or matzah. On this night, why do we eat only matzah? On all other nights, we eat all kinds of vegetables. On this night, why do we eat only bitter herbs? On all other nights, we do not dip our vegetables even once. On this night, why do we dip them twice?
Good question.
On all other nights, we eat our meals sitting or reclining. On this night, why do we eat only reclining?
Now, my friends, if you're not reclining right now, please get off your seat and lay on the floor, and we shall continue. We answered the questions.
And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and thy sons forever. Exodus 12:24.
Did you hear who and for how long? This is a teaching Passover, and this is something you can do the next time. In fact, there is a second Passover in Yahweh's plan coming up in a couple of weeks. But now it's both a duty and a privilege to answer these 4 questions. The Passover and to recite the mighty works of our faithful Elohim. The matzah. On all other nights, we eat bread with leaven, but on Passover, we eat only matzah, unleavened bread. As the children of Israel fled from Egypt, there was no time for their dough to rise. Instead, the hot desert sun baked the dough flat. And even more important than that, the scriptures teach us that leaven may symbolize sin. And sin is the breaking of the ordinances of Torah, according to the New Testament. All.
Don't you know that a little yeast works through the whole dough?
No.
Get rid of the old yeast that you may be a new batch without yeast, as you really are.
Messiah.
For Messiah, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. Therefore, let us keep the feast. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
1 Corinthians 5:7. During this season of Passover, let us break our old habits of sin and selfishness and begin a fresh, new, and set apart life.
Okay. Where's the box of matzah? Need to have the box. Okay. Streets matzah, it must be kosher because there's all kinds of Hebrew writing on it. Here's the 3. And this is a unity when you choose to put 1 in the middle. There's your unity. And I'll explain that here, well, right now. Okay. Eisen. This is the bread of affliction, the poor bread that our fathers ate in the land of Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in need share in the hope of Passover. 3 matzahs are wrapped together for Passover. There are various explanations for this ceremony. Unfortunately, not many that seem to be too cogent. The rabbis call these 3 a unity, or an echad. Some consider it a unity of patriarchs, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Others explain it as a unity of worship, the priest, the Levites, and the people of Israel. We who know Messiah can sometimes see this unique unity of Elohim, the Father, his uniquely born Son, and his Spirit. That's especially true when you do a Passover Seder for a Christian or church community. In the matzah, we can see a picture of Messiah. Take a look at yours. See how it's striped? Steve?
But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
What a promise.
Isaiah 53:5.
Can you see now how the matzah is pierced?
And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourns for his only son. Zechariah 12:10.
All right, I'm going to take the middle piece out of the unity. And I guess I could show you this for just a minute. Eisen. Look it out. Try to break it as evenly as you can. Can't beat that. This is a good way of displaying it when we do this as communion. Okay, let's look at why. Eisen? Just as the middle piece of the bread of affliction is broken, Messiah too was afflicted and broken. One half is now called the afikomen, that which comes after, or the dessert. Interesting, not a Hebrew word, but a Greek word, the dessert. It is wrapped in a white cloth, just as Messiah's body was wrapped for burial. And we have a towel here someplace. That's good. I'm wrapping mine in a towel. I've already, no, wait a minute. I think that the other two, you can correct me if need be, these go in the unity. What's left of the unity and in the towel. Okay, I think I got it. Here we go. All wrapped up really good. Now let's go back to the liturgy and see what we do next. If the children will cover their eyes, Charlie, cover your eyes, please. My 57-year-old, 7-year-old. I will hide the afikomen. Okay. I'm taking off and I'm going to hide it someplace. I'm not going to make it too hard to find. There, she'll never find you there. We'll give you just a minute. If you're going along with this, go hide your afikomen. Call your child in someplace. Have the child come in and say, I've got a treat for you. Doesn't make any difference how old that child is. maybe the youngest one in the house right now. And that's all the time you get. Isaac. Unless you'd like to show us your hiding of the Ophicomen. Just as I've hidden this Ophicomen. So Messiah was placed in a tomb, hidden for a time. But just as the Ophicomen will return to complete our Passover Seder, so the sinless Messiah rose from the dead and ascended into the sky. Okay. Eisen, let me have a little camera time. I shall break it because his body was broken for you. And I'm going to pass a piece over to each at the table. That's your piece. Your piece. Here's my piece. Perhaps you can see the parallel with nowadays communion service. Broken for you. Okay, Heisen. Okay, Heisen. There we go. Now let us share a piece of this unleavened bread of Passover. And everyone said,
Blessed are you,
Yeah.
O
O
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
our
our
Elohim,
Elohim,
ruler
ruler of the universe, who
who
brings forth bread from the earth.
Make sure to save some of your matzah because we're going to eat some more of it in a minute. I'll tell you something. Even though this is the body of Messiah, at least in a spiritual sense, it tastes a lot better if you haven't eaten anything all day. The maror, bitter herbs. On all other nights, we eat all kinds of vegetables, but on Passover, we eat only maror, bitter herbs. As sweet as our lives are today, let us still remember how bitter life was for the children of Israel in the land of Egypt. All right, let's take a look at my plate. You guys, if you can, lift up some horseradish, some of the bitter herb. You see it on my plate? Yeah, good, thank you. Show the horseradish there. It's that little pile of stuff there. You could use a jalapeno. You could use a habanero or anything else. It's very bitter and spicy for yours. If you want to show, please break in, call on the Heisen so he can get you in there, or you can go to share screen. If you're a co-host, if not, just say, I want to share my screen. We'd like to see some other people. No. Okay, Heisen, let's go back. We have to, oh, here's Marcel. What's on that? Lipstick? No. Okay.
It's a radish.
Okay. Heisen? So the Egyptians came to dread the Israelites and worked them ruthlessly. They made them bitter with hard labor in brick and mortar and all kinds of work in the fields. So as we scoop some maror onto a piece of matzah, let us allow the bitter taste to cause us to shed tears of compassion for the sorrow that our ancestors knew thousands of years ago. Take a little scoop on your matzah of the maror. If it's really hot, not too big. Like this. Is that too much? If you're using wasabi or a habanero, you might want to reduce that amount a little bit. Okay, let's go back to the reading. Oh,
I ate too fast.
Blessed are you, O Yahweh our
our
Elohim,
Elohim,
ruler
of
of the universe, who has set us apart by his word and commanded us
to
eat bitter herbs.
Eat.
All eat.
Not too hot. Not hot, but it's bitter. I want some more. Yep, about done. The caro set.
We dip twice.
On all other nights, we do not dip our vegetables even once, but tonight we dip them twice. We've already dipped the parsley into the salt water. The children of Israel toiled to make treasure cities for Pharaoh, working in brick and clay. We remember this task in a mixture called karoset, made from chopped apples, honey, nuts, and wine. Let's once again scoop some bitter herbs onto a small piece of matzah, but this time, before we eat, let us dip the herbs into the sweet karoset. So you've got a piece of matzah there with both the apple mixture and the bitter herbs. And sometimes, depending on how that karoset is made, it's kind of hard to do, especially if you don't have a utensil. Good idea to use a radish. You can, I always in the past have used a daikon radish. All right, we need to go back now to the liturgy. You must be hungry. You're already eaten. All the horseradish on his plate and everything else is gone.
We dip the bitter herbs into karoset to remind ourselves that even the most bitter of circumstances can be sweetened by the hope we have in Yahweh. All eat.
While they were reclining at the table eating, Yahshua said, I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me. We'll see that tomorrow night played out dramatically. They were saddened, and one by one they said to him, surely not I. It is one of the 12, he replied, one who dips unleavened bread into the bowl with me. Let us eat. Good job on that karoset. But not really a good mixture, do you think, Lee?
It's fine for being out in the desert, in the wilderness. I would appreciate this in the wilderness, just do just that.
Depends on how hungry you are.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you would say Diana.
Diana, you're right.
It is enough.
Tonight we recline. Leader, on all the nights, we eat either sitting or reclining. But tonight we eat reclining. The first Passover was celebrated by a people enslaved.
Once we were slaves,
Slaves.
but now we are free.
Free.
The children of Israel were instructed to eat the Passover in haste. Their loins girded, their staffs in their hands, their sandals upon their feet, waiting departure from the bondage of Egypt. Today we all may recline and freely enjoy the Passover Seder. If you ever read that passage of the Last Supper, notice what takes the disciples out of the supper. They have to get out of there very speedy to just stop and go. He says, let us go forth. That's all. Okay, Steve.
Messiah said, "Come unto
Come unto
me,
me,
all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28.
So here's the story of Passover, read by the leader and the 4 readers.
I have remembered my covenant.
The story of Passover is a story of miracles, a story of redemption, a story of the mighty power of Yahweh to overcome evil. Our first reader here is Commander Lee, if he can see well enough. Come on over here and you can read it off my screen. That's it. Good.
Yahweh had promised the land of Israel to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yet here were their children in Egypt. The Pharaoh who had come to power feared them. These foreigners in our midst are prospering and have grown numerous, he thought. Suppose they join with our enemies and turn against us. Pharaoh decided to exert greater control over this people, imposing harsh and bitter slavery upon the Israelites. Still, Yahweh blessed his people in strength and number.
Thank you. And reader number 2.
This is Brother Jackson Sufran at Congregation of Elohim in New York.
Great.
Pharaoh grew more frightened and ordered every baby boy among the Israelites to be drowned in the Nile River. One Hebrew couple hid their little boy for 3 months. Finally, entrusting his future to the Eternal, they set him in a basket and placed him upon the river. His sister Miriam watched as he floated downstream. Discovering the basket, Pharaoh's daughter took pity on the child and chose to raise him as her own. She called him Moshe, Moses, meaning drawn from the water.
Okay, this is Felix, reader number 3, Jackson's brother from Brooklyn. Okay, so we go. Moses grew and became aware of the travail of his people. One day, in a rage, he lost control and killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave. Fleeing the palace in the eye of Pharaoh, Moses became a shepherd in the land of Midian, far from the cries of his suffering brothers and sisters.
This is Vicky. Yahweh saw the affliction of the children of Israel and heard their groaning. He would raise up a deliverer to lead them out of bondage. It was then that he appeared to Moses in the midst of a bush that burned with fire, yet was not consumed. Moses drew close and listened as Yahweh commissioned him to go to Pharaoh, fearful and reluctant. Still, Moses agreed to bring Yahweh's message to the king of Egypt. Let my people go.
Thank you, readers. You'll probably be coming up again here in a minute. As we go to the cup of plagues.
I will free you from being slaves.
Moses left the wilderness to return to Pharaoh's palace, the very place where he had been raised. He returned with a message that Yahweh had given him, but Yahweh himself warned Moses of the resistance that he would encounter.
But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go. Exodus 3:19-20.
Yahweh sent plagues one by one, yet with each plague, Pharaoh hardened his heart. The Egyptians became afflicted with discomfort and disease, bane, and blight, yet still Pharaoh would not relent. With the 10th and most awful plague, Yahweh pierced through the hardness of Pharaoh's impenetrable heart.
On that same night, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn, both men and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the Elohim of Egypt. I am Yahweh. Exodus 12:12.
My friends, let's fill our cups a second time. A full cup is a symbol of joy, and indeed, we will share that together very soon. Don't drink it, just hold it for right now. Oh, here comes our shamash with the wine. Is that all I get?
Kind of tipsy there.
Okay, very good. You'll get another glass of wine or a couple of ounces. I want you to see that I am not over wine bibbing. A little bit. Hey, Hyson. I'm not sure where we are here. Oh, second time.
Let us feel. Yeah.
Yeah. A full cup is a symbol of joy. And indeed, on this occasion, we are filled with joy at Yahweh's mighty deliverance. But let us also remember the great cost at which redemption was purchased. Lives were sacrificed to bring about the release of Yahweh's people from the slavery in Egypt. Yet a far greater price purchased our redemption from slavery to sin, the death of Moshiach. As we recite each plague 3 times, let us dip a little finger into the cup, allowing a drop of liquid to fall, reducing the fullness of our cup of joy this night. But let me suggest that we dip the finger and let it fall back in the cup. All right? Dip. Here we go. We need the liturgy up for this part. Eisen? Yeah. Okay, Steve, you got it.
Each plague is recited 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Blood.
Blood, blood, blood.
Blood.
Frogs,
Frogs. Frogs. Frogs.
You got it.
Lies.
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 Dip those fingers.
Bees.
Bees.
Bees. Bees. Mad cow.
Mad
cow.
Mad cow.
Mad cow.
Boils.
Boils. Boils.
Hail.
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 Hail. Locust.
Locust. Locust. Locust. darkness, 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 death, death, death.
Don't drink the
Do
second.
not drink the second cup at this time.
Lick your fingers.
Just like that?
Hmm. The Passover lamb.
The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. Exodus 12:13.
Gamaliel, a prominent first-century Pharisee, taught that in recounting the Passover story, one must be certain to mention three things: the unleavened bread, the bitter herbs, the Passover lamb. But what does he know?
We have eaten the matzah to remind us of the haste with which children of Israel fled Egypt. We have tasted the bitter herbs to remind us of the bitter slavery they experienced there.
On the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household. The animals you choose must be 1-year-old lambs without defect. Take care of them until the 14th day of the month, when all the people of the community of Israel must slaughter them at twilight. Then they are to take some of the blood and put it on the sides and tops of the door frames of the houses where they eat the lambs.
That same night, they are to eat the meat roasted over the fire, along with bitter herbs and bread made without yeast. This is how you are to eat it, with your cloak tucked in your belt, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Eat it in haste. It is the Eternal's Passover. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. Exodus 12, verses 8, 11, and 13.
We are reminded by Moshe that it was Yahweh himself who redeemed the children of Israel from slavery. So Yahweh brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great terror and with miraculous signs and wonders. On the same night, I will pass through Egypt. For Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he sees the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, then Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
I, the Yahweh, the first and the last.
And strike down every firstborn, both men and women.
I,
the Yahweh, the creator of all.
And I will bring judgment upon all the powers of Mitzrayim.
The Yahweh, the Elohim.
I am Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh.
I, the eternal
Yahweh, the Most High El. There is no other.
Good job. We who have trusted Yeshua the Messiah believe he is the Lamb of Yahweh, our Passover. Like the ancient Israelites, we know that it was Yahweh himself who achieved final redemption from sin and death.
It is Yahweh himself, through Yeshua, his uniquely born Son, who takes away the sin of the world.
We have the Dayenu now, and we're just going to do a little bit of the song. Go ahead and read that passage, would you please, Heidi?
They will celebrate your abundant goodness and joyfully sing of your righteousness.
Amen.
Psalm 145:7.
And it goes like this: Da da yenu, da da yenu, da da yenu, Very good. You know it. You're gonna get some chances here to sing it again.
Sing that 100 times.
Yeah. How great is Yahweh's goodness to us. For each of his acts of mercy and kindness, we declare. Dayenu.
I knew.
It would have been sufficient if Yahweh had merely rescued us, but had not judged the Egyptians. Let's sing it.
Dayenu.
Dayenu. Dayenu. Continue. That's fun. If he had only destroyed their Elohim, but had not parted the Red Sea,
Dayenu.
If he had only drowned our enemies, but had not fed us with manna, if he had only led us through the desert, but had not given us the Sabbath, if he had only given us the Torah, but not the land of Israel, but the set apart one, blessed be he, provided all of these blessings for our ancestors, and not only these, but so many more. I'm really wanting to drink this cup, but it's still not time. This is the part about Yochanan HaMakbil, the prophet Eliah that was to come. I'm lifting my cup in recognition, toasting the prophet Yochanan HaMakbil. This cup is lifted in recognition of the prophet Yochanan, the master's cousin, the greatest of men born of women, and the Eliyahu HaNavi that was to come. At this time, let us all say,
Praise are you, O Yahweh, our Elohim, who said, see, I will send you the prophet Elijah before that great and dreadful day of Yahweh comes. Malachi 4:5.
As they departed, Yeshua began to say to the multitude concerning John, what did you go out to the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? But what did you go out to see? A man clothed in soft garments? Indeed, those who wore soft clothing are in kings' houses. But what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I say to you, but more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I will send my messenger before your face, who will prepare your ways before you. Assuredly, I say to you, among these born of women, there has not risen anyone greater than John the Baptist. But he who is sent in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the Torah prophesied until John.
And if you are willing to receive it, he is Elijah who is to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Matthew 17, verse 10. And his disciple asked him, saying, why then do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? Yeshua answered and said to them, indeed, Elijah is coming first and will restore all things. But I say to you that Elijah has come already, and they did not know him, but did to him whatever they wished. Likewise, the Son of Man is also about to suffer at their hands.
Eliah may not have been seen death, for he was swept up into the sky by a great whirlwind in a chariot of fire. It has been our hope that Eliah would come at Passover to announce the Messiah, son of David. Before the birth of Yochanan HaMakbil, an angel of Yahweh said, "And he will go on before Yahweh in the spirit and power of Eliah to make ready a prepared people."
Later, Yeshua spoke of Yochanan. And if you are willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. Matthew 11:14. It was this same John who saw Yeshua and declared, "Look, the Lamb of Yahweh who takes away the sin of the world." John 1:29. Blessed are you, O Yahweh, for you have in mercy supplied all our needs. You have indeed sent Yochanan HaMakbil as Elijah promised to come, and have indeed given us Messiah, forgiveness for sin, life abundant, and life everlasting. Hallelujah.
Amen. Let us reflect on the Isaiah 53, describing the characteristics of the Messiah.
Who hath believed our report? But to whom is the arm of the Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form, but nor comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And he hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted.
But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Eternal hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people was he stricken.
And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Eternal Yah to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Eternal Yah shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong. Because he has poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors.
The Passover supper. You shall keep it a feast to Yahweh. Now look, we're going to skip this and have supper just as soon as we're done, and we're almost done. Because we're at the Afiko, man. I got a little something in my mouth. This is the time when the children go looking for, remember, that which comes after the dessert. If a child finds it, brings it back, we're going to give them a little prize, like some bitter herbs. No. Traditionally, a dreidel or some gelt. Gelt is chocolate coins that are covered with silver or gold wrapping. That's what tradition is. But then again, all this is tradition. But it's the earliest thing we know. So let us continue as we finish up this Passover liturgy. The afikomen.
For the transgressions of my people, he was stricken. Isaiah 53:8.
It's time for us to share the afikomen, the dessert, the final food eaten at Passover. It is shared as the Passover lamb was shared from the time of the Exodus until the destruction of the temple. It is said that the taste of the afikomen should linger in our mouths. Messiah broke matzah and gave thanks to Yahweh.
Blessed are you, O Yahweh our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth.
It was then that Messiah added the words, "This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Let us now eat matzah, meditating on the broken body of the Lamb of Yahweh who takes away the sin of the world. Let us allow the taste to linger in our mouths. Eat matzah, my friend. Now let's drink that glass of wine, too, that's been sitting here for so long. Matzah, wine. We may think of it as the broken body and the blood of Yeshua. And if you will, you could consider such things as having changed into that very form in a spiritual sense. The cup of redemption.
I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. Exodus 6:6.
So let us fill our cups for the third time this evening. And I know you'd like another cup.
Oh, I finished this one.
We'll finish it. Drink it right down. That's it. We'll call you an Uber. If need be. We want to try to keep you out of trouble. I guess your cup is filled, and if you want to lift it up now, let me say, this is the cup of redemption, symbolizing the blood of the Passover lamb. It was the cup after supper with which Messiah identified himself. The prophet Isaiah reminds us, surely the arm of Yahweh is not too short to save. It is our own righteousness that falls short. Though Yahweh searched, he couldn't find anyone to intercede. So his own arm worked salvation for him, and his own righteousness sustained him. Yahshua, the Messiah, lifted the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." Just as the blood of the Lamb brought salvation to Egypt, so Messiah's atoning death can bring salvation to all who believe.
Blessed are you, O Yahweh our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Let us gratefully drink.
Cheers. Oh, beloved Master Yeshua, we remember how you were betrayed and arrested that night. Coming out, he went to the Mount of Olives, as he was accustomed, and his disciples also followed him. When he came to the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not enter into temptation." And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's throw, and he knelt down and prayed, saying,
Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done.
We got to read it one, yeah. Then an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. Being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Then his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. When he rose up from prayer and had come to his disciples, he found them sleeping from sorrow. And he said to them, "Why do you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you enter into temptation." And while he was still speaking, behold, a multitude, and he who was called Yehuda, one of the 12, went before them and drew near to Yeshua to kiss him.
But
Yeshua said to him, "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?"
When those around him saw what was going on, they said to him, "Master, shall we strike with the sword?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Yeshua answered and said, "Permit even this." And he touched his ear and healed him. Then Yeshua said to the chief priests, captains of the temple, and the elders who had come to him, Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs? When I was with you daily in the temple, did you not try to seize me? But this is your hour and the power of darkness. Having arrested him, they led him and brought him to the high priest's house. But Peter followed at a distance.
The cup of praise.
I will take you as my own people, and I will be your Elohim.
Oh boy, let us fill the cups for the fourth and last time and give thanks to Yahweh, our great Redeemer. All right. If you need some, put another little dab in there or fill it up to you. How about you, my friend? Okay, there you go. You've had enough, okay.
His love endures forever.
Yes, give thanks to Yahweh Almighty, to him who alone does great wonders.
His love endures
forever.
Who by his understanding made the heavens.
His love
endures forever.
Who spread out the earth upon the waters.
His love
endures forever.
Who made the great lights.
His love endures forever.
The sun to govern the day.
His love
endures forever.
The moon and stars to govern the night.
His love
endures forever.
To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt.
His love
endures forever.
And brought Israel out from among them.
His
love endures forever.
With a mighty hand and an outstretched arm.
His
love endures forever.
Oh, make it a little happier. To him who divided the Red Sea asunder His
His
love
love
endures
endures
forever. He
forever.
brought Israel to the midst of it, but swept Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea.
His
love
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 endures forever.
To him who led his people through the desert.
His
love
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 endures
endures
More
forever.
like it. Give thanks to Yahweh of the skies.
His
His
love
Love
endures
endures
forever.
forever.
Oh, here's our
Psalm
cup.
136,
Let's
1
lift
to
our
16,
cups and
20.
bless the name of Yahweh. Lift that cup. Blessed. Sorry, Steve. Go.
Blessed are you, O Yahweh our Elohim, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. All drink.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Our Passover Seder is now complete, just as our redemption is forever complete. Let us conclude with the traditional wish that we may celebrate Passover next year in Jerusalem.
Next
year in Jerusalem. Better still in the new Jerusalem.
Amen and amen. Heisen, does anybody want to show their Seder setup before we go? Okay. Tomorrow night. Oh, good. You need to be made a host. Hold on a minute. Oh,
Mine's blurry. Sorry, guys.
is it? What you got going there? Oh, look here. Here he is. Very good. Nice. Hello. Is that Marjorie or Sherry?
Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Thank you. Anybody else? Well, I hope we made it a little fun. Tomorrow night, it'll be sorrowful. 7 o'clock, we're going to hone in again, as I said, on the supper and on Gethsemane. I thought this year, instead of going to the Old Testament, let's move over to the New for the two feasts in Passover or in Matzah. And that would be Wednesday night and the next Tuesday night, I believe. Do I have that right? So we'll have services on those. And I believe the congregation of Elohim is going to have a service every night. And so,
yes, yeah, we will have short services just for the bread and the cup, just to offer thanks, about 40 minutes.
And what we need is the link to that.
Yes, I could send that to you.
All right.
But then I have to do an adjustment because I think I sent out, because this has been our custom to do the days of unleavened bread during the daytime. So I sent out that it was from 11 to 7, but I guess I'll need to update that.
Yeah, in fact, you can go ahead and don't put it on as event, put it on the Vero Yahad as an announcement, like I try to do, kind of like that. And see if we can get anybody's interest to come. Then maybe we could do it on live on Thursday night and following. But tomorrow it's going to be at night at 7 o'clock. We're going to look at some Hollywood clips, some very doleful Hollywood clips, not doleful in the sense of being poor or portraying the master in a poor way, but rather portraying him in a real way, at least real insofar as we might understand it. And it won't be long like this. This is extra long. What you can do now is go have your supper. And remember, during Matzah feast starting tomorrow, no yeast. Felix, no beer. No beer.
No, they don't.
Okay, I thank you all for coming. We'll see you soon again. Watch for announcements. We have these all the time, as well as a service every Shabbat at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Yahweh bless you for coming. And for you that work so hard today, I hope you have a great Passover week. Amen.